Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Hearted Podcast. Today, I'm talking about the kind of social media sabbatical I took last year and what has happened since I stopped posting on social media. So, first things first, I didn't intentionally take a sabbatical from posting on social media, it just kind of happened. Last summer, we were going to Florida to visit family and go to Disney World. And at first I thought like, oh, I'll document like our whole road trip and then, what we do with family and then what we do when we get to Disney and actively like post to my Instagram stories every day. And I don't know what it was, but I just didn't want to post on social media while I was there, which is like, if you know me, fucking weird. Like, I am the kind of person that used to post just about every single day on my Instagram stories, and I just always wanted to be there, wanted to be a presence, wanted to be sharing a piece of my life. But I found that with having Harper like on this trip, I just wanted to soak it all in. I wanted to be present. And I thought, maybe I'll take these pictures and videos and I'll post them later. And I just never did. So that was back in July where I just stopped kind of posting to my Instagram story, stopped frequently posting to my regular feed, and then it just kind of went on from there, and I've only posted a handful of times since then. One was literally, I think, a picture of us in Galaxy's Edge, and then I posted a selfie of Dylan and I a few months ago, and I didn't even post anything on Instagram for like Harper's birthday, and I just really ended up needing that break from posting on social media. And at first, it felt like such a nice break that I had like less pressure to perform every single day. But at the same time, my days didn't feel as purposeful because I was not like intentionally posting on my Instagram story or doing a specific activity with Harper that I was like, oh, this would be great for my Instagram story. Where so much of my life had been turned into doing it for the gram. What can I do to make my life look interesting? Where can I spend my money? What can I buy? How can I do my hair or fix my outfit to like have something to post about? And so I was in this really weird, like, I didn't feel like my life was interesting at all anymore. And so I didn't have the drive to post. But then it was also like, okay, well, what do I actually enjoy doing? What do I like to do? Versus what have I been influenced to enjoy and to like and to strive for? And so those first couple months of not posting on Instagram were super weird. I avoided the app entirely. I think I may have even deleted it off of my phone at some point. And I had gone from spending hours every day on Instagram to spending maybe an hour a week or not even that. I missed a lot of things that were kind of going on in my friends and family's lives because I avoided Facebook as well, which I've like always avoided Facebook. So I experienced a little bit of FOMO and almost guilt from that because if I saw somebody in person, I would have started a conversation with them and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you didn't see that on Facebook." And I was just like, no, like, I'm not trying to be that person, but I was just in a very unhealthy mental space when it came to social media. And so I am one of those kinds of people that has to do all or nothing. And I hate that about myself sometimes. But that just meant that I totally avoided the social media apps and I stopped posting. I stopped, you know, consuming content that way. And that's kind of how I got on to being addicted to YouTube. And so I just watch YouTube all day now, which, you know, can be good or bad. Sometimes I learn a lot of stuff. Sometimes I just waste my life watching random ass YouTube videos. But after I kind of got over that hump of, people are going to think that I'm weird because I'm not posting, or they're going to think that I've fallen off the face of the earth, or they're going to try to contact me in other ways, or just think that I've quit again. And, I had all of those thoughts coming up when I first stopped posting on Instagram, mainly, like not even social media in general, I guess, basically Instagram. But then once I kind of got over that and, worked through some of those feelings and kind of just sucked it up and said, well, this is what's good for me right now in this season, then I started to feel more present during the day because I wasn't spending extra time making sure I had makeup on just in case I wanted to post an Instagram story, or I wasn't, taking time to make sure Harper looked super cute and her hair was done perfect just in case like I decided to take a video and post it. I just felt like a normal person that didn't have to document every single thing. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with people who do that. I have done it for many years, but it just was kind of refreshing to not be on display all the time and to have some moments that were reserved just for me and for my family versus always having to be on, always having to be ready to respond to messages or, you know, obsessively checking to see how many likes a post have gotten or how many views a reel has gotten. And I just had all of that was just gone. And so that was definitely a pro for me that I was not so fixated on the vanity metrics that really don't mean a shit at the end of the day. But there were also some cons to me taking my social media break. I definitely distanced myself even more from people that I had not been seeing in person because of COVID, and just like my extended family and things like that. I was kind of in the dark on what was going on in other people's lives, and nobody knew anything about me. I didn't really feel like I had a lot that I needed to share with people to tell them what was going on, but I just also felt weird because I wasn't sharing everything like I used to in the past, where everybody always knew what was going on with me because they read my blog or they saw my Instagram story. And I think in this day and age, that's just so different. People are usually sharing lots of things about their lives online. And so I don't know. I just felt like somebody from a different time, like not participating in that. And so again, I kind of felt a little bit of FOMO. I felt left out of some things, but I also was okay with it. Like it was kind of nice to be left out of certain things or to miss things that had happened on social media. But after a couple months, I finally got my Instagram back on my phone and I would start scrolling, and I just really had to cull down who I was following and make sure that my newsfeed was something that was enjoyable and something that I wanted to see versus being filled with stuff that I just either wasn't interested anymore or did not serve me in a positive way. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I would end up buying things literally because I was influenced. So many times I have done that. I'm not ashamed to say it. I think we all do it and we've done it for years. Like I think about like my grandma watching QVC and stuff. Like, we're always influenced by celebrities and the people around us to just keep up and know what is current, what is trendy, what's the newest tech item, and we see somebody else has it and we have to have it too. And so I am very weak when it comes to stuff like that. And it's kind of funny because on Instagram, if I see like a sponsored, post or story, I swipe away from it like immediately. I'm like, ew. I don't want you. But as soon as somebody I follow is talking about a product and doing literally a sponsored post for that brand, I'm like researching it, I'm looking into it. And then before long, it's in my Amazon cart and on its way to my house. And that's not all the time, but I just found myself buying things to be cool and buying things to fit in, buying things to have just the right prop for a photo or a certain kind of shirt for a single Instagram post. And I just needed to stop all of that. And so I'm glad that I stepped away to kind of restart and refresh what social media means to me and what my relationship with it will look like, and come up with some more boundaries so that it's not such a time suck, but also something that is productive for me, helps me in a good way, keeps me in a positive mindset versus constantly feeling like I'm on a hamster wheel and I can't get ahead because I am not witty and creative when it comes to like creating content on Instagram. And the content has just changed so much into doing, this video content. And for a long time, I was trying to master it. And it's just not my thing. It's not my thing. As much as I would love to be very good at it and make lots of money at it. it just ended up being way more stress to me than it was worth to me. And so, anyway, when I decided I was going to start posting on social media again, I really just had to take a look and see what fit into my life right now in this season where things are still weird and like I'm still a stay-at-home mom full time, and I only have so much time every week to work on my podcast and to dedicate to things like social media. And so I kind of just came up with what worked for me. And so that's why on Instagram I've started sharing like little clips of podcast videos on my reels, because I'm like, I'm already sitting here recording it. I have the video footage. I can literally just make it into a vertical video and share that instead of coming up with some new creative ideas every single week and trying to create extra content. And I've really just had to make peace with that I am not, an up and coming person who is going to be TikTok famous ever. And I think that's okay. It's so easy to get caught up in the expectations when it comes to social media, what you should be posting, what you shouldn't be posting, whether or not you should be using filters, whether or not you're answering your DMs and always available to people. Just all of these things that impact our mental health so much in our day to day life by just having some kind of little notification pop up or posting something that you worked so hard on. I know sometimes with reels, I spent hours on them, getting ready, setting up, getting it right if I was lip syncing or whatever, or, multiple shots of whatever. You spend hours and then it tanks. And I totally know, like I know that it takes practice, and it is worth that time investment a lot of the times. I'm saying it was not working for me. And so I just had to give myself permission to let that go so that social media could be enjoyable for me again and just look way different than it ever has before. And so while I gained some like clarity and a healthier mindset on a daily basis, and when it came to social media, I also lost followers and I lost traction on my podcast episodes because I wasn't posting them on social media. And like that sucks. That sucked. And I would kind of just have these phases where I wasn't even looking at the numbers because I didn't want to know. I just wanted to keep doing my thing, keep grinding, doing the hard work, and just knowing that one day I would be posting on social media again and like I would bring that recognition back. But of course, I still had you listening like the whole time, but just wasn't getting as much traction as I had been in the beginning when I was like really good about constantly posting about the podcast. And so I think for me, it was just time to totally step back and make those new rules for myself and those boundaries. And I am very aware that I might have to do this on a yearly basis, quarterly basis, whatever, and hopefully just take some time away to reevaluate again so that things don't get out of hand. So, I guess what I want the main takeaway to be is that even though I took off like 9 months of posting on social media with just doing a couple things here and there, nothing tragic happened. Like, I didn't totally lose my following or my listenership on my podcast. I didn't have my friends totally leave me because I wasn't posting on social media anymore. I actually still had a lot of people reaching out to me, and maybe that was because I wasn't posting on social media. I don't know. But there were mostly good things that came out of my break from social media. And I got the space that I needed to really clear my head and find out what was going to work best for me. And I had time away to just be real, to have some shitty days, to have some lazy days, and to not feel like I was constantly performing, even though I was doing it to myself, where I was the one making sure I was posting on stories and things like that. But you become so influenced by everybody around you that it's easy to forget what makes you happy and what you want to do. And you suddenly become kind of a puppet to whatever society is telling you to do, whatever social media influencers are preaching. And again, nothing against any of them or any of that. I'm just saying it can get out of hand and you can end up kind of losing yourself and losing what is important to you because of all of this buzzing that is constantly around us in the media, on our phones, on our laptops, like literally everywhere. And so if you feel like you need a break from social media, I would highly encourage it. And if you're not sure where to get started, I'll just give you a couple quick tips. You can be like me and just cold turkey stop and ghost everyone and everything, because that's pretty much what I did. Wouldn't necessarily recommend, but I was not doing great. And honestly, I didn't care at that time. I cared more about myself and trying to get better, which I think is totally fair, even though that kind of sounds like a bitchy thing to say. But you can always do a post that just says, "Hey, like I'm going to be taking off the next week or the next month from social media, but please know that all my content and all my things are like still happening. You just won't be hearing from me on this platform as often." Or you can just schedule out your stuff so that nobody even knows that you're taking a break, which is kind of what I like to do, be like very stealthy about it and, take some time to schedule things in advance. Um, that way it's just seamless and I can come back to it whenever I'm ready, whenever I feel that good feeling of like, okay, I'm ready to like post and come up with a caption and like take a cute photo, something like that. And you can also think about culling down who you follow during your downtime. That way, when you come back to that space, your newsfeed is a very welcoming and happy place that is going to help you with whatever goals you're setting. So, if you feel like you've been following a lot of people who are negatively affecting you or your mindset, you can start unfollowing them or mute them, whatever you need to do. Or if you've been obsessed with something that you see as a flaw in yourself, maybe you can go through and just, again, kind of clear out those accounts that are making you feel down on yourself or highlighting those flaws. So, what this looks like for me is unfollowing certain moms because sometimes I see them, and if they've got, a car full of kids and their makeup's always perfect and their kids are in like all neutral outfits and stuff like that. And I just find that their content is not really serving me. It's okay for me to not follow them because sometimes when I see those families, I feel less than. I'm not saying I should feel that way. I'm just saying, in that moment when I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see that post, that is my feeling. And I don't need anything else reminding me that I feel that way already or like emphasizing that if I'm literally sitting there in like messy hair and pajamas from 2 days ago with Harper with the, milk on her face and also crazy hair and PJs and just feeling like, damn, I do not have it together, or I wish I was more like her. I wish, I had the will and the motivation to get up and get ready. All of those thoughts that just kind of spiral out of control. And again, it's nothing against that particular person, how they live their life, how they present their content. It's literally me and it's my feelings. And my feelings are valid in that in this season, it is hard for me to see that person's content. And so it's okay for me to step away from it. So I really encourage cleaning out the people that you follow and the shit that you see in your feed because it can make or break your day, which I'm sure you have noticed. You can also pick and choose how you take your break from social media. If you're just taking a break from posting stories, or if you're taking a break from posting on your feed, you can still choose to be active and engage with your followers and hashtags and, stay active in your DMs if you want. Like, you make the rules for this social media sabbatical if you decide to take one. I think in the future, I will try to schedule things out and take a whole ass break and like delete Instagram from my phone. But more than likely, I'll probably just ghost at some point because that's what I do. That's who I am. Maybe I'll work through that in therapy sometime. But at least I am aware of my flaws and my feelings and how I tend to behave. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just calling myself out a bit here. So if you feel drained and exhausted and down in the dumps every time you are on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media platform you're on, pay attention to that feeling. See how often it comes up, if it's every time, if it's literally just when you see a specific kind of post or something from a specific kind of person, and make some new boundaries. Make it a safe space for yourself because I don't know about you, but when I first started on social media, I followed everything. Everything. everything that came across my news feed or explore page or whatever. And then I was just following a bunch of shit that I either didn't care about or made me feel terrible about myself. So by being a little stronger and protecting myself from those things, I have felt so much better. And I think you will too. So let me know your thoughts on this. If you were mad at me when I took my social media break, or, if you're craving one, if you've done one in the past, what that looked like for you. And I hope that you will take some time to step away from social media if it is stressing you out, because you deserve a break. Even if you work ahead and make sure that everything is like ready to go, that is the smart thing to do. And I would encourage that. And I guess this is, kind of for business owners, but it can be the same for just people in general. Because I know even if you don't have a business, a lot of people enjoy posting on social media. And I think if I had never owned a small business, like maybe I would love social media, but not so much right now. Maybe one day I'll get back there. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.